just going to be fun. You've had your brains fried, you got so much amazing input, and now this is just lighthearted fun. And we chose the title, Wait, Wait. They really did this. For those of you who live in the US or are familiar with US media, it is based on the NPR quiz show, Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. Shamelessly stolen, but then also not, with two big differences. So with Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, there's always some fake news of the last week, and two candidates have to guess which option is real. Here you have to guess, it's all about GenAI news cases in the media. You have to guess which are the fake ones and which is the real one. And then also we are not, the other difference, we're not going to have candidates here, but you all are invited to join in, and also the people in the live stream. So we hope, we have prepared four rounds. We hope we'll get around to doing all these 4 rounds. Each of them are slightly different, and we are going to dive into round 1. And I think, Athandiwe, you have to come around here because...
Such a weird little setup. I hope everyone has taken a picture of the QR code and is in. Is everyone in? Should we go back to the QR code? Or you can just go to Mentimeter and put that code in. We want as many players because this is going to be interesting to see how many of our journalists know which one is real and what is not.
Okay, we're diving into round 1. 4 examples. 3 are fake, 1 is real.
Okay, so we're looking firstly at synthetic anchors and on-screen talent. So the first option is BBC's weather AI Claire goes rogue. Is that the correct answer or not? The second option is Al Jazeera's multilingual anchor speaks Klingon. Al Jazeera announced in January 2024 that they created omnilingual Omar. Did this actually happen? The third option is the Italian state TV's AI anchor that becomes accidental fashion icon. Did that actually happen? Prada, Versace, Dolce, Gabbana, did they actually wear those outfits? And then the fourth option is South Korean network's AI clone reporter. A major South Korean news channel created an AI duplicate of the star anchor to handle her overwhelming workload in 2024. Was that really real? So you have 4 options. You need to vote. Which one is actually real? Ooh, wait. Got 20 seconds. Vote. It's coming. Hope everyone is voting online as well. All right. Should we reveal the answer? Who's Clippy?
But they can see with data.
Yes.
Okay, round 1. I think everyone said D. Is that the right answer? Let's see. Did South Korea's one actually? Yay! So that actually was the correct one. South Korea's news anchor from MBN does have a digital twin, AI-generated version of herself. It was created using studio footage. Virtual anchor replicates her voice, her expression, and her gestures as well. And it's strikingly very, very real. You can Google it and you can find some of the videos that have been made. So that's the first one. Round 2.
Okay, round 2 is about back-end and workflow automation. Example A is from Reuters. Reuters AI approves expenses. Your chances of getting reimbursed are the better, the more creative you are. For example, the AI approved a strategic networking facilitation device, which is gobbledygook for having a beer, and it was also approved for mobile research infrastructure, which means taxi to a bar, but lunch was insufficiently descriptive and was rejected. Is that real? That was number A. B is Norway's Freedom of Information Act bot, the legal AI that actually works. Lawyers worldwide have been rejected by judges for using AI, and AI that came up with cases that didn't really exist. Can this bot be better than real lawyers, and can it help with filing FOIA requests? And can it prove that journalists can teach AI better than attorneys can? That's number 2, or number B. And then example C is from The Guardian. Guardian AI transcribes only arguments and highlights important moments. And important, it defined as anything that is emotionally intense. And after a while, The Guardian found out that it only transcribed shouting matches and got into matches about Oxford commas, font choices, and all sorts of nitty-gritty stuff. Is that real? It had to be taken down for this. And example D is from the Associated Press, and it had a AI translation tool that unfortunately translates breaking news as broken news. And that happened in 23 languages. Everything that was happening right now was damaged news, news that doesn't work anymore, and that happened in 23 languages. They fixed the bug, but it was too late. Several international newspapers had already run headlines like, "Broken, President announces new policy." And it confused readers that thought their governments were malfunctioning. Did that really happen? And now it's your turn to vote.
Get 20 seconds. Quick as fingers. I'm actually interested, which is the correct answer. I don't remember.
Could all be, or could none of them could be. No, one is real. Whoops.
Oh, no.
We broke it.
There we go. You guys are really good. So we need resolution slide.
Yeah.
Yes, so this was Norway's Verdensgang, also called VG. They introduced a FOIA bot that was designed to help journalists file freedom of information requests more efficiently, and it is really good at that. It's built on a RAG model that draws from verified legal corpus, and therefore completely avoids the problems that attorneys had when they asked ChatGPT for legal advice, and then ChatGPT completely made up cases. So it's completely not like that.
All right, off to round 3. Let's see if you can get 4 out of 4. So, first option in round 3. Did South Africa's News 24 launch a multilingual AI chatbot in 2024 to serve readers in all 11 official languages? We've got a lot of official languages in South Africa. The idea is that this bot actually worked really well until users began to discover that it would switch languages randomly mid-conversation based on what it felt like. So it would move from Afrikaans to isiZulu to Tswana. A reader asking about unemployment in English would get statistics in Afrikaans and an analysis in isiZulu and a conclusion back in English. Did that really happen? Option B, Paraguay's prison chatbot based on a real inmate. Was there an independent newsroom in Paraguay that created a chatbot that they named Eva, that lets readers chat with a woman currently in prison for drug trafficking? Eva answers questions about prison life, her arrest, and why she was incarcerated, all based on a 3-hour interview with a real inmate. Did this actually happen? Option C, Le Monde, AI chatbot, judges readers French grammar. Did France's Le Monde launch an AI chatbot in January of 2025 to personalize content recommendations for readers? Instead of suggesting articles, the AI chatbot began correcting users' French grammar and questioning their vocab choices. When readers typed questions with informal language, it would respond, "Perhaps you meant je sorteles rather than je veux." We maintain standards here, the chatbot would say. Did it actually happen? BBC launches chatbot that only speaks in loud headlines. The BBC created a headline helper in early 2024 to engage younger audiences through conversations with AI. However, the bot was trained exclusively on BBC headlines and could only communicate in big, dramatic, breaking noise style declarations. When users asked, "What's the weather today?" it would respond, "Shocking! Temperatures do plummet as rain threatens UK." Did that actually happen? You have 4 choices. Which bot was real? I like the headline idea. Just speak in headlines, just scream all the time. It's fun. Paraguay's prison chatbot.
They got
Was
it
that
right
real?
again. Yeah, that's the one.
You have so many questions. Which part, the prison or the chatbot or the lady? That's your Google on the tube. Let's find out the answer.
Okay, we're coming to our final round.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
There she is.
First,
it
we got
actually is the website. I went onto it, and of course, you can ask Google to translate this stuff. It's actually quite an interesting chat. Tried it myself. Round 4.
Round 4, content generation and assistance. So the first example is from Germany. Süddeutsche Zeitung launched an AI-powered recipe generator in April 2025. This was to create a weekly cooking supplement. But it took 3 months for the food editor to discover that none of the 200 recipes that had been published so far were actually physically possible. One recipe called for caramelizing the ice cream before freezing it, and while another instructed readers to boil pasta in the oven at 160 degrees Celsius for 45 minutes. Obviously, the AI had been trained on recipe blogs without understanding basic cooking physics. There was Bavarian chocolate cake with sauerkraut and baking at minus 20 degrees Celsius, and so on and so on. And the newspaper would have probably gone on like this for a while, but hundreds of readers started complaining that their kitchens were flooded, on fire, or smelled like cabbage, like burnt cabbage. So that's case A. Case B is from Japan. Japan's newspaper Asahi Shimbun implemented AI translation for international news. This is also a case from 2024. And this AI automatically converted foreign names into Japanese characters. But about 40% of Western names were just all translated into Mr. Potato, which seemed like a safe choice. So Emmanuel Macron, Taylor Swift, and President Biden and whatnot, they all became Mr. Potato. So articles about the G7 summit featured discussions between Mr. Potato from France, Mr. Potato from USA, and Mr. Potato from UK. They only got onto this when the German embassy called and asked why Olaf Scholz was consistently referred to as Mr. Potato. That is case B. Case C is from the US, and this is about a fake reading list. The Chicago Sun-Times and the Philadelphia Inquirer published a summer reading list for 2025, recommending 15 books, except 10 of them didn't exist at all. The AI-generated list had a completely invented novels and attributed them to real famous authors like Isabel Allende's first climate fiction debut called Tidewater Dreams. Pulitzer Prize winner Percival Everett's The Rainmakers, about privatized rain. And Andy Weir's The Last Algorithm, about conscious AI manipulating world events. You had to read on to the 11th book to finally find one that actually existed. Then the last one, case D, Brazilian news sites' AI headlines become soap opera plots. Brazil's O Globo introduced AI-generated headlines to speed up publication. Within weeks, editors noticed that the headlines were becoming increasingly dramatic and resembled telenovela plots. A story about municipal budget negotiations became shocking betrayal, mayor's secret alliance revealed in explosive council meeting. A routine weather report was headlined, "Mysterious storm approaches Rio, will love survive the rain?" And so on. Apparently, the AI had been trained on decades of O Globo archives, which contained hundreds of Brazilian soap operas. Readers loved the headlines. Traffic increased by 200% until one headline promised shocking twist in traffic law. And then users were severely disappointed because it was only about a new parking meter system. So which one of these four cases is real?
I love the telenovelas from Brazil. Oh, everything is just so hyper and big and okay. Yes.
4 out of 4.
4 out of 4, of course. There's the actual summer reading list. I've actually looked for it because I actually wanted to see. how it was actually written is actually in an actual real newspaper. So in the US, there was a lot of backlash after this big summer reading list came out. And I think most of the people who have answered do know about this. And 15 titles, 10 were actually fabricated. And I think there was some response around how it was supposedly outsourced and and there was no checking of it and verification. So that's quite, yeah, that was the correct answer. So with all of these, to the next one. With all of these big AI mishaps, mistakes, there should be key takeaways that we are noting here. I'm just going to run through some of them as well. Guardrails, that's why we've got someone skating there. We have to label and verify. So there's a lot of AI outputs, must be checked. Human in the whole cycle. There has to be a human who's checking this stuff. Verification is so important. What we like to call fact-checking, it has to happen. But that's part of what we do in journalism anyway. If a source tells you something, we don't just go and publish it. I'm not sure why we're thinking that if AI tells us something, we can just simply go and publish it without actually verifying and confirming that it is true. Second takeaway, there has to be guardrails in how we use AI. And I think from the onset, we spoke a bit about guidelines and whether journalists have to read them. We have to figure out how we get journalists on board with the guardrails that must be in newsrooms. Some of the numbers that were spoken about, 18% of actual newsrooms that actually have guidelines on how to use this, that number has to be higher. We have to design for trust. Where we are using artificial intelligence, we have to have our readers in mind. We have to go back to those basics of rebuilding that trust with our readers, with our audiences. This new kind of disturbance in what we're doing doesn't mean that we stop working on the trust part. So designing for trust, transparency, so important. And yes, AI can help. We're not saying not to use it, but we have to think through these. We have to create workflows workflows that are bounded and by verified sourcing, like we have always done in all the work that we have done in putting workflows in places. We have to make sure that the information that we're putting out there is verified. And
yes, please stay in touch with us. Take a picture of our QR codes. Behind mine, you'll find my newsletter, of course. There are more than 40 GenAI use cases there. I promise you, none of them are fake.
Definitely, let's stay in touch. And the leaderboard. Woo! Is that so close? What? Maverick, who's Maverick? Please stand up. Woo! There's Maverick right there. That was so much fun. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.